When a woman knows who she is, she does not speak to a man from a place of need, but from a place of centered presence. She does not chase attention. She becomes the silence that draws attention in. The way she speaks is not loud, but it echoes. It is not aggressive, but it is unshakable. It does not beg, but it commands through calm certainty. What is not right to do? She asks no one to validate her worth because she has already looked in the mirror of discipline and carved herself through discomfort and growth. What is not right to do? When she speaks to a man, she doesn't try to impress him. She observes. She listens, not with suspicion, but with awareness. She listens not only to what he says, but to what he avoids, laughs off, what he repeats, what he hides behind. Her words are measured, not because she fears, but because she understands that words carry energy, and the energy she offers is not thrown away cheaply. She doesn't flatter recklessly. She doesn't argue to win. She doesn't provoke to be seen, nor does she shrink to be liked. She speaks from the depth of her own practice. She speaks from the calm she's earned, not the chaos she's survived. A man who meets her will feel it immediately. Not in her appearance, not in her status, not in her voice, but in her gaze, in her posture, in her peace. She is not interested in controlling a man. She is interested in mastering herself. And from that mastery, her words carry gravity, not control, not desperation, gravity. She is slow to anger, quick to exit, not because she doesn't care, but because she honors her boundaries like temples. When disrespected, she doesn't scream. She disappears quietly, completely. Her conversations are not performances. They are rituals. They are tests. Not set up to trap a man, what is not right to do, but to see if he can breathe illness she brings. She speaks to a man not to fill her loneliness, but to share her wholeness. She knows that the most powerful words a woman can say are the ones she says with her life. What is not right to do, her discipline becomes her language, her values become her voice, and her silence becomes the loudest truth in the room. A high-value woman does not operate from of need when she speaks to a man because she has already cultivated a strong relationship with herself. She has spent time in solitude, understanding her thoughts, mastering her emotions, and refining her intentions. This self-awareness creates a quiet inner confidence that doesn't seek approval from others. Her presence is rooted, not restless. So when she enters a conversation, she's not looking to be chosen. She's choosing. Her words are not trying to earn love or affection. What is not right to, they reflect someone who already feels whole. There is a noticeable difference in the energy of someone who needs something versus someone who shares something. The former carries tension, fear, and expectation. The latter carries openness, clarity, and calm. This difference shapes how a man experiences her. He does not feel pressure from her to perform or to complete her. He feels invited into her peace. Because she is not speaking from desperation or anxiety, she has nothing to prove. She does not need to dominate the conversation or fill every silence. She's comfortable letting space exist. That space, that stillness, becomes magnetic. It draws others in without effort. There's a spiritual discipline in being able to speak without seeking. Her words carry no hidden agenda. She is not fishing for compliments or trying to test his intentions through manipulation. She is aligned with herself. This alignment becomes her power. And when a woman is aligned, she cannot be easily swayed. She doesn't lower her tone or soften her truth just to be liked. Nor does she raise her voice or exaggerate to be respected. She stays in her center. From that center, her words carry weight. They are not heavy with emotion, right to do, but they are grounded in authenticity. A man speaking to her will sense it instantly. He won't feel like he's in a performance. What is not right to, he will feel like he's in the presence of someone who is real. This presence is not about dominating a room or controlling a man. What is not right to do, it's about bringing awareness into every interaction. She is not reactive. She does not interrupt out of fear that she'll be forgotten. She does not right to do. She doesn't talk over others to keep the spotlight. She listens because she values clarity. She pauses before she speaks because she values intention. This creates a dynamic where her presence alone does most of the talking. When a man speaks to her, he senses that she is not lost in him. She is not disappearing to fit his expectations. She is grounded, clear, and aware of her worth. That unspoken energy shifts the entire tone of the conversation. What is not right? It's no longer about winning or losing attention. It becomes about connection built on mutual respect. And that only happens when a woman speaks from presence, not from need. When a high-value woman speaks, her words are calm, deliberate, and intentionally chosen. She doesn't do. She doesn't rush to fill silence because she understands the weight that stillness can carry. Her communication is not a frantic effort to be heard or validated. It is a reflection of inner discipline and clarity. Every word she chooses is measured not because she is guarded, but because she respects the power of language. She knows that words are like arrows. They can uplift or destroy depending on how they are used. So she doesn't shoot aimlessly. She's not right to do it only when she has something meaningful to offer, and in doing so, every sentence becomes a demonstration of her self-control and emotional intelligence. There is no chaos in her voice, no desperation hidden in her tone. Instead, her speech is steady, composed, and anchored in truth. This steadiness comes from the emotional work she has done. She has felt pain, but she has allowed pain to harden her. She has experienced loss, but she has not let loss define her identity. Because she has processed her emotions in solitude, she no longer feels the need to release them uncontrollably onto others. Her words are no longer weapons of reaction. They are tools of understanding. This makes her voice soothing, not because it's soft in volume, but because it's soft in intention. It doesn't provoke. It reveals. It doesn't overwhelm. It invites reflection. When she speaks, the energy behind her words is felt before the words themselves. That energy is grounded. It's not seeking validation. It's not trying to manipulate or impress. It's offering clarity. Even in disagreement, she remains centered. She does not resort to yelling, sarcasm, or passive aggression. She communicates boundaries without hostility. She shares her truth without needing to dominate. This balance is rare, and it separates her from others. While many people speak to react, she speaks to connect. While others talk to be liked, and she talks to be understood. And she is okay if she's not. Men who hear are often disarmed, not by what she says, but by how she says it. She doesn't dramatize or beg. She doesn't plead for empathy or chase emotional reactions. Instead, she holds space for truth to exist between two people without demanding that be shaped in her favor. This requires courage. It requires practice. It requires a willingness to be misunderstood in exchange for maintaining integrity. Her calm speech is not weakness. It is the mastery of impulse. Her measured tone is not cold. It is the result of deep self-respect. She understands that speaking with intention builds trust, and trust is the foundation of influence. Without raising her voice, without using flowery words, she commands attention. Not because she demands it, but because her energy makes people want to listen. The calmness in her tone is not an act. It is a reflection of an inner world that is not ruled by chaos, by clarity and control. A high-value woman does not simply listen to respond. She listens to understand. She listens with awareness, not only to the words being said, but to the pauses between them, the tone in which they're spoken, and the energy behind each sentence. She has trained herself to be fully present in conversation, which means she's not formulating her reply while the other person is still speaking. She's not reacting out of emotion or assumption. She's absorbing, reading, sensing. This makes her presence deeply felt and her responses deeply accurate. A man may come with charm, with stories, with confidence, but she pays attention to what he avoids, what he rushes through, what he overemphasizes, and what he never mentions at all. These gaps reveal more than words. Her awareness comes from emotional maturity. She is not right to do. She doesn't listen with suspicion or judgment. She listens with clarity. She has nothing to gain from catching someone in a lie or proving someone wrong. Her focus is on alignment. She is listening to see if the words match the actions, if the tone matches the intention, if the story matches the energy. She understands that what is not said is often louder than what is, and that makes her almost impossible to fool. In conversation, her eyes are calm but piercing, as not right to do, not in a threatening way, but in a way that says, I see. She sees through performance. She sees through flattery. She sees through surface-level charm, but she doesn't call it out harshly. She simply notes it quietly inwardly and allows space for the truth to rise. She trusts that people will reveal themselves with time, and she does not rush that process. This patience is her power. Because she is aware, she rarely finds herself blindsided. She sees the red flags early, but she doesn't panic. She doesn't become reactive. She stays curious. She not right to do. She allows others to unfold, but she remains grounded in what she knows to be true. Right to do. This calm observational energy can be disarming to men who are used to being able to manipulate the narrative. With her, there's no need to pretend. There's not right to do. There's no room for games. Not because she demands honesty through confrontation, but because her awareness makes pretense feel unnecessary. Her questions are intentional. She does not interrogate, but she does inquire. She listens to patterns, to inconsistencies, to how a man speaks about others, how he speaks about himself, how he speaks about life. These details inform her far more than any grand gestures. She may nod and smile, but internally she is building a picture, not of the mask, but of the man behind it. This level of listening is not natural. It is developed. Through self-reflection, through silence, through watching her own thoughts, she has trained her awareness like a muscle. So now when she is with someone, they feel it. They feel seen. Some thought right to, sometimes more than they're comfortable with. And this is not because she's trying to look into them. It's because she's already looked deeply into herself. A high-value woman does not engage in conversation to impress, to win, or to dominate. She does is not right to do. She doesn't seek validation through performance, nor does she alter herself to fit someone else's expectations. Instead, she enters dialogue as she is, grounded, self-aware, and anchored in her own identity. Her peace is not performative, it is deeply earned. That peace becomes her greatest form of communication. She doesn't need to overshare to prove depth, nor does she speak excessively to keep someone interested. She lets the silence speak just much as her words do. That silence, when held with confidence, becomes magnetic. It tells right to do. It tells the other person that she's not afraid of pauses because she doesn't equate silence with rejection. She is not in a rush to be liked. She has no desire to be loud to be seen or to be agreeable just to avoid conflict. Her value is not tied to how well she can adapt to someone's preferences. She's not right to do. She's not molding herself around others' comfort. She's inviting others into the stillness she's cultivated within herself. That invitation is not given through demand, but through presence. The calm she carries is a signal, one that says she's not here to entertain, she's here to connect. There is a stillness about her that many men are not used to. They are used to proving, performing, and protecting. But with her, that energy fades because she does not demand anything from ego. She doesn't argue for attention. She doesn't initiate competition. She's not trying to one-up or outshine. She simply holds herself with such authority that those around her begin to match her energy, or they quietly fall away. There is no pressure from her to escalate anything. She allows things to unfold naturally, and that patience is disarming. She is not reactive. What is not right to do? She doesn't speak from wounds. She doesn't let her past dictate the tone of her voice or the direction of her questions. Even if she's been hurt before, she doesn't lead with fear. Instead, she leads with self-trust. That trust tells her that she can handle the truth, even if it's disappointing, so she doesn't manipulate. She doesn't fish for reassurance. She doesn't disguise control as curiosity. She asks what she needs to ask, what is not right to, and then she watches not just what is said, but what is revealed through behavior. Her peace becomes her boundary. It doesn't need to be defended through argument or enforced through anger. It simply exists. Anyone who disrupts it too often finds themselves gently but firmly removed from her life. This discipline does not come from coldness. It comes from deep respect for herself. She knows what she's built inside, what is not right to do, and she's unwilling to let someone else's chaos destroy it. That decision, that inner knowing changes how she communicates with men. What is not right, she's not trying to control the outcome of the conversation. She's showing up fully as herself and letting the rest fall where it may. A high-value woman does not need to raise her voice, defend herself through yelling, or prove a point with emotional outbursts. She is not to do. She knows that her peace is a reflection of her power. When someone disrespects her, she doesn't argue for them to see her worth. She simply removes herself from the situation with quiet finality. There is no drama, no long explanations, no emotional performances. What is not right to do? She doesn't plead for understanding because she has already made peace with the fact that not everyone deserves access to her. Her boundaries are not loud. They are unshakable. They are not forced onto others. They are lived from within. And when someone crosses those boundaries, she does not right to do, doesn't feel the need to explain why she's leaving. Her silence speaks for her. What is not right to? She has learned that staying calm in the face of disrespect is not weakness, it's wisdom. She no longer wastes time proving her point to those who never intended to understand her. She no longer invites chaos into her life just to avoid being alone. Instead, it's not right to do. Instead, she walks on anything that threatens her peace, even if it comes with charm or promises. Her ability to exit without emotional fanfare is not cruelty. It's clarity. She has seen what happens when she stays too long in spaces where she isn't respected. She's felt the exhaustion of over-explaining, over-giving, and over-compromising. And now she refuses to repeat those patterns. That refusal has become her strength. Disrespect doesn't trigger her to argue. It reminds her to observe. When a man speaks to her in a tone that lacks care, when his words begin to dismiss, control, or minimize her, she does not become reactive. She becomes still. She becomes precise. She doesn't match the chaos with more chaos. She meets right to do. She meets it with boundaries, with detachment, with exit. That level of self-control is powerful because it's rare. Many people fight to be heard, but she understands that walking away speaks louder than shouting ever could. Her value is not proven in the debate. It's demonstrated in her decision to protect her peace. This doesn't mean she's cold or unfeeling. On the contrary, it means she has felt deeply and learned wisely. It means she no longer sees conflict as an opportunity to be right, but as an invitation to choose herself. What is not right too? That choice shows up in her actions. She has nothing to prove to those who disrespect her, because she's already proven her worth to herself. What is not right to do? That internal proof gives her the courage to walk away, not with resentment, but with quiet resolve. She doesn't need to punish others for their behavior. Her life does that on its own. Her job is to maintain her own vibration, to protect the energy she's built, and to leave when that energy is threatened. That ability to leave without destruction, to remove herself without bitterness, is the mark of a woman who has mastered herself. And in mastering herself, she is not right too. She becomes untouchable to those who don't know how to treat her right. A high-value woman doesn't rely on grand speeches or dramatic expressions to convey who she is. Her life speaks louder than her words. The way she moves through the world, the choices she makes, the standards she keeps, and the energy she brings into every room all tell her story without the need for constant explanation. Her discipline is visible in her consistency. Her integrity is clear in her boundaries. Her values are reflected in the people she surrounds herself with and the environments she chooses to enter. She does not right to do. She doesn't need to announce her worth. It reveals itself through her actions. People feel it when they're around her. There's no pressure, no pretense, just a steady sense of self that's being earned, not borrowed. She doesn't try to convince others of her strength. She embodies it. She doesn't describe how loyal she is. She shows it through time, through patience, through presence. She doesn't need to proclaim how deeply she feels. Her sensitivity is evident in how she listens, how she nurtures, how she responds. Her emotional range is not something she weaponizes or hides. What is not right to do? It's something she has learned to navigate with grace. And because she's done the work of knowing herself, she no longer needs to be performative to be seen. Her life becomes a message. In how she spends her time, she shows what she values. In how she treats others, she reflects her internal world. In how she treats herself, she sets the standard for how she expects to be treated. If a man wants to know who she is, he doesn't need to interrogate. He only needs to observe. Her choices will tell the truth. They always do. If her boundaries are strong, it's because she's been through seasons where they were not. If her speech is gentle, it's because she's already battled her own inner storms. What is not right to do? If her presence is calm, it's because she's learned to quiet the noise that once lived in her mind. She doesn't make promises she can't keep. She does not right to do. She doesn't exaggerate her intentions. She lets her life unfold with honesty, and she allows her growth to be visible. She doesn't hide the work it takes to stay grounded. She honors it. And because of that, she becomes a mirror for those around her. Some will be drawn to her peace. Others will be intimidated by it. Either way, she does not change. She does not dim or shift depending on the reaction she receives. She remains aligned with the truth of who she is. This consistency is what makes her trustworthy. She not right to. She does not become a different person depending on who's watching. She does not mold her identity around attention or affection. Her sense of self is stable. Her right to do, her energy is clean. Her intentions are clear. And when she does speak, her words carry the weight of a life that reflects them. They're not empty. They're not borrowed. They're lived. Every sentence she speaks is backed by choices she's already made. That's why people listen, not just to what she says, but to how she lives.